Hi, it's Jessie with Plan with Jessie, and this is a Recollections personal ring-bound planner. And what follows is going to be a video of how I made it into a traveler's notebook in a B6 size. I did this while I was at my mom's house, so I didn't have a lot of the regular tools that I use for making traveler's notebooks, so I thought it would be a good idea to show you that you can make a traveler's notebook even if you don't have any special tools. The things that I use to make this are probably things you have already around your house. So enjoy. This is how I made this ring-bound Recollections planner into a B6 traveler's notebook. So this is what the planner looked like when I got it. I purchased it when it was 50% off, so it was a little under $10. So obviously the first thing I needed to do was take out the inserts because I don't have any use for those. And then all the extra little paper packaging that came with it as well. So if you've seen any of my other videos where I remove the rings, basically you just need either a screwdriver, like this, an electric screwdriver, or a drill or something. Try to find a good size bit that is similar in size to the rivet that is attaching the rings to the planner. And essentially what you want to do is just make the rivet disconnect from the planner, so make the rings disconnect. So there's not really any particular science to it or anything. I just sort of drill and try and move it around a little bit in the hole in order to unhook it from the different edges of the rivet itself. It can take a fair amount of time depending on how hard you press, how strong your drill is, and just how easy it is to get it unhooked. So I'm not going to show you the whole process because it did take me several minutes of drilling and maneuvering the screwdriver in order to get it to come unhooked. And the key is definitely to move around the drill or screwdriver to get all of the edges. As you can see, I start to kind of remember that part here as I'm moving it around, trying to get each side, and that definitely helps it to come unhooked, as you see it did here. And once that's done, you just need to do the same thing for the other side so that the ring mechanism will come off entirely, and then you can just set it aside. And then once that happens, there's going to be two little things poking up attached to a longer piece of metal, and in order to get that piece of metal out, you do need to make a slice at the bottom. Here I'm using a box cutter to make a slice just across the seam on the bottom. Just make it wide enough so that you're able to fit the metal piece out. I don't really have a problem with how it looks once this little hole is made, so it doesn't really bother me too much as far as the aesthetics of the planner. Getting the piece of metal out can be a little bit tricky because it has the little prongs sticking out, so you can't just slide it out easily. So what I'm doing here, I'm just using a wrench that my mom had in the garage to sort of push the metal pieces down so that I can just slide the longer metal piece out, because you don't want it hooking onto the planner or it's not going to come out. So there I was able to get it out. And that's what it looks like with the rings removed. So the outside still looks perfect. It's just the inside has those holes. So now I'm back inside and I'm going to make my holes for my elastic. So I'm just using this little mini screwdriver that my mom had to just make the holes. So just like in any of my other DIY Traveler's Notebook videos, you just want to make 2 holes at the top and 2 at the bottom in order to string your elastic through. Now, this tool did not work as well as the screw punch that I have at home or my eyelet punch that I have at home. But, since I was away from home, this was the only thing I had. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I just goes to show you that you don't need to have those special tools. You can just use what you have. It just may take a little bit more elbow grease to get the holes that you need. So once I put the holes on this end, then I moved to the bottom, and it was a little bit trickier just because the planner was missing that bottom seam where I had cut it open, so it did make the holes putting the holes in a little bit trickier. So just keep that in mind when you get to the bottom when you're putting in the holes. If you're using a tool like this, it's a little bit trickier to keep the fabric together in order to make the hole all the way through. So the holes are made, and now I just needed elastic, but since I didn't have my roll of elastic from my craft room, I just took the elastic out of the phyllo dory I had been using and decided to just use that to make this one. So just stringing the elastic through like you would for any other traveler's notebook. I only had enough elastic at that point to make two elastic strands. When I got home, I did end up restringing it so that I had the 4 elastics that I prefer, but like I said, in a pinch, you have to go with what you have. So there I just tied off the strands and clipped it so that it didn't have the extra dangling elastic, and it is finished and ready to add the inserts. When I bought the planner, I picked up a couple of these Michael's $2 notebooks that fit in perfectly. And so there you have it, how I turned a Recollections ring bound into a B6 Traveler's Notebook.